What are essential leadership habits that can push you forward in business and in life? Today, we're going to be looking at essential leadership habits for business and for personal success. The habit that I want to spend some time looking at today is forming habits around proactive leadership. Now, what exactly is proactive leadership? Now, the concept of proactive leadership stands on three important pillars. Pillar one, you learn the process of thinking ahead. And in business and in life, these are essential leadership habits that you need to learn, apply, and master. You literally need to own this. Secondly, you need to master the craft of seeing beyond problems. Many persons get stuck in the problem zone. That's the last place that you want to be stuck. And third, you want to train the mind, master the habits of taking informed action. There are major differences between taking action and informed action. And a couple of things that I want to say before I bring in my colleague is that the ability to think ahead is not seeing beyond problems. The ability to see beyond problems is not having the ability to take informed action. And I will examine all of this in today's program so as to ensure that the listening audience truly understand what is proactive leadership and how to apply this essential leadership tool to business and your personal life. Now, to join me in today's conversation, I have two dynamic personalities. One, I have Clement Frank, and in the event that you are wondering who is Clement Frank, or you might have seen for the first time, he is an economist by profession, and he's a leader by certification. And he's now in the process of releasing one of his new books. Welcome, Clement.
Thanks.
We welcome. We also have Peter Goscott, and in the event that you're seeing Peter Goscott for the first time, he is a theologist by profession, and he is also the brain behind Legacy Chronicle Human Growth Program. And of course, one of his vision is to really help people to understand the importance of having a master plan and applying the master plan to their life and businesses. Welcome, Peter.
Good to be here, Gary.
Awesome. Now, today I want us to do a deep dive into the topic essential leadership habits. But just before we get into today's program, I want to thank the viewers from across the world. Today we have over 50,000 countries that we are reaching, and we have over 30,000 subscribers on one platform and over, I think, 12,000 on another platform. So we have over 40,000 subscribers on our program. So I really want to thank our listening and viewing audience from across the world for supporting this platform. I also want to encourage those who are viewing the program, loving the program, but you have not yet subscribed. I want to encourage you to press that subscription button so you will be the first to get these content that we are bringing to you on a regular basis. Now, today we are discussing essential leadership habits. And we are looking at essential leadership habits in the context of business and personal success. Now, I want to go immediately into looking at what exactly is proactive leadership. Proactive leadership, I do believe, is a skill set that every person should learn, apply, and master. It is about thinking ahead, but what exactly are we thinking ahead about? You see, if you're starting a business, what you want to do is to take the time to think ahead of the business success ecosystem. To successfully run a business, you need the right human resources, you need the right technical resources, and you need the right capital resources. So these are things that you need to think ahead about. But thinking ahead about a given situation does not mean that you are seeing beyond the problems. Because very often you think ahead, you know exactly what are some of the practical steps that you should be taking to achieve a specific end results. But you're yet not taking those specific action. You're not taking what we call informed action to achieve desired results. So what I want to do, I want to give some examples of how to apply proactive leadership to business and to life. So there are three important concepts that we're going to be looking at here: the process of thinking ahead, the process of seeing beyond problems, and the process of informed action. How does this apply? Now, I'm going to try to relate to you some practical and real experiences that we would have had. In the classroom and in the consultancy, we have a program that we call the Pathway 5. And Pathway 5 is set up to really help people to attain wealth. But very often what you find is that persons that may come into the classroom, some may have wealth and some do not. But what they have in common, they either want to attain wealth or they want to attain more wealth. But in some cases, you find that they just don't know how to go about doing this. They don't know how to apply the processes of thinking ahead, seeing beyond problems, and taking informed action to achieve desired results. So there's a scenario that we were looking at. One is that you have an income producing asset in front of you. The value of it is $10 million. The annual potential cash flow of the income producing asset is about $6 million. But guess what? You have worked out the details and you see that if you're able to acquire this income producing asset, it can give you $6 million in annual revenue. But guess what? You don't have the money to make that 10% deposit to acquire the property. So part of what we do is help you to see beyond the problem. So in terms of thinking ahead of this whole process, is if you think ahead of owning this asset, performing assets, you will start to think about things like capital markets. Because the reason you don't have the money to make the purchase is because you don't understand capital markets. And by understanding capital market, I mean debt and equity and credit and creative financing and hard money lending. You don't understand these financial instruments. You don't understand capital market. So you're thinking ahead that, hey, I want this property. All right. What you should also be thinking ahead about is capital markets. Because the more you understand capital markets, is the better able you are to attain this asset. So what thinking ahead can do? Thinking ahead means this, but seeing beyond problem, what seeing beyond problem means? It means that you have an idea of practical steps that you can take to acquire the asset. Seeing beyond problem means that you have now made a decision that you're going to use debt instruments to acquire the property, but then you need to reach the pre-qualification criteria. Or you make a decision that you're going to use equity capital to acquire the property, but then you still need to reach the pre-qualification criteria to acquire that. So this is part of seeing beyond the problem. So you made a decision that I'm going to use debt or equity or credit, and you take the time to understand what are the pre-qualification criteria to access the capital. Many persons, you may think ahead, but then you don't see beyond the problem, so you get stuck in the problem zone. Pathway 5 helps you to get past the problem zone. But let me also put this one to you. Even in cases when you understand the pre-qualification criteria to access the capital, guess what we're seeing? You're still not taken the kind of action, informed action, to get access to that capital. Let us suppose that you don't reach the pre-qualification for debt, or you choose not to take debt, or you don't reach the pre-qualification for credit, or you choose not to take credit, but you made a decision that you're going to use creative financing in the form of group economics. You may know this, but you still not use it. And let me talk a little bit about group economics. Group economics in this context is where instead of you taking debt and equity and credit, you decide to use smart capital. So to purchase the asset at $10 million, you at least need to put down 10%. So you don't have the money and you don't want to take debt. So what you do instead, you connect it with 10 persons and you made a pitch to them, and you get each one of them to invest $150,000 in the portfolio. What happens here? Because of the fact that you made a strong pitch, because you have the power of negotiation on your side, you were now able to accumulate in that pitch $1.5 million, which is $500,000 more that you need to close that deal. But guess what? Knowing that this is a possibility, which is part of seeing beyond the problems, doesn't mean that you are empowered with the leadership skills to take action on this. And this is something that we see happens a lot. Many persons you think ahead. Many persons you may be able to even see through the problem, but very often when it comes to taking informed action, you're not taking that type of action to position yourself for greatness. You're stuck between the problem zone, or you're stuck between seeing beyond problems and taking informed action to achieve desired results. That requires a lot of leadership. And what you need is the leadership habits to break procrastination, the leadership habit that is going to push you forward towards achieving the dreams and hopes and aspiration that you have for yourself. So whether it's business or whether it's for personal gains, you need to have a certain type of leadership attitude, a leadership style, leadership habits that is going to push you past procrastination into that point where you're taking action that can give you desired results. Because we have so many persons that have so many great ideas, but they're not taking action on it. And one of the things that I often say is that I'm certain that everyone on the planet Earth, they at least have one great idea that can make them multimillionaires. But guess what? They're not seeing beyond the problems, and they are not taking informed action to achieve the desired results. Pathway 5 is really set up to ensure that you understand this entire ecosystem and you can apply these type of leadership skills to your business and your personal life. So whether you want to start to scale a business, take it IPO, or sell it on the stock market, or you want to position yourself to build wealth, this information that we're sharing with you, I believe, can genuinely help to push you forward in those areas. So I'm going to pause here for now, and I'm going to turn to Frank to share with us his thoughts on the topic. All to you, Frank. Frank, you're mute. Frank, you're mute.
Sorry about that. Good morning, listeners.
Yes. Welcome.
Good morning,
All
Peter.
to you.
Morning, Sir Frank.
I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Mine was fantastic, fabulous, everything else. And for those mothers who are listening, a happy belated Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Uh,
Yeah.
but it's great to be back. It's great to see you, wonderful people. I'm always happy when I see you guys smiling faces. It makes my busy day goes easier. So we're talking about essential leadership style and how it can elevate your business and personal success. And an essential leadership style is one, in other words, it combines adaptability, empathy, and vision to drive both business and personal success. And when we embody the qualities, which are the essential qualities in practice, the essential leader can then create a positive impact on both the organization and individuals they lead, which drives the business success while also foster personal growth and fulfillment. And so, why essential leadership? When we look at today's, and I like to use the word dynamic because it's ever evolving, it's ever changing, and we have that sort of workplace, an ever evolving workplace, then effective leadership qualities are the cornerstone of success. The modern leaders are not just managers, they are visionaries, they are collaborators, they are motivators who inspire teams to reach new heights. And what is the significance? Effective leadership in any business, project management, um, whatever business you're in, it is paramount for the success of any endeavor. A skilled leader provides direction, inspires motivation, and fosters collaboration among team members. The essential leader, therefore, acts as a guiding force, ensuring that goals are clearly defined, roles are understood, and that the resources are allocated efficiently. I wish our political leaders can listen to this one, because effective leadership instills confidence and trust within a team, within a nation, within a business, and it encourages open communication, problem solving. Moreover, leaders adeptly navigate challenges, adapt to changing circumstances, and make informed decisions to keep the project on track. Ultimately, strong leadership cultivates a culture of accountability, innovation, and excellence, driving towards the achievement of project objectives and delivering um, successful outcomes. And before I go into the qualities, I just want to leave some stats and facts on importance of leadership qualities. The latest stats and facts on the importance of leadership qualities. One, the leadership development sector boasts a staggering 366 billion valuation with an impressive 166 billion dedicated to investments within the US. The second is a company culture holds a significant sway, as evidenced by 35% of American workers who prioritize its influence on their professional choices. Now you're asking me why I'm using American facts, because that's what's available. And despite what others may see, a lot of them try to model the American standard. So we can just remain at American standard for now. And the third one, a noteworthy 59% of business leaders affirm that their organizations have implemented strategic measures to mitigate the pervasive issue of burnout. Number four, in senior management roles, resilience emerges as the distinctive trait. 54.7% of women exhibiting higher level of resilience compared to their male counterparts. And this research has a lot of people going haywire about who does what more, or which gender does more, or whatever, but we're not there for this morning. Number five is that the acknowledgement of employee efforts proves to be a powerful motivator, with an impressive 69% expressing a willingness to intensify their work effort. If duly recognized, then number six is establishing a connection between engagement and profitability. That companies that actively engage their employees, they enjoy a remarkable 22% increase in overall profitability. The seventh one is that leadership qualities are not exclusive to a mere fraction of the population. 10% are natural leaders, while an additional 20% possess inherent leadership traits that, with proper training and guidance, can blossom into a great leadership potential. A mere 5% of businesses have successfully implemented comprehensive leadership development initiatives across all organizational levels, which underscores the untapped potential for growth and improvement in this critical area. The ninth one is that leadership development is recognized as a strategic imperative by a mere 5% of businesses, indicating a vast opportunity for companies to invest in cultivating leadership skills at all levels within their workforce. Now this team that you're seeing here, we are here to help you to become the best leader, to raise that profitability. But you have to have um, that want to have that appeal for this. You can't just sit down and it's going to happen overnight. It takes a lot of work. But with the work, we're here to mentor, to train, to teach, and to come beside you, not above you, not below you, but come alongside you to show you the ways, the strategies, and how effective you can be in getting that business off the ground and becoming the best leader, um, despite the competition in this dynamic landscape. Thank you, Gary.
All right, great share, Frank. And I just want to support the sentiment that was expressed. Our vision here is definitely to give you the comprehensive support that you need to grow and scale your vision. And leadership is an essential part of doing business. In fact, leadership is an essential part of life. What I've looked at in the brief today is proactive leadership. And what I said is that the proactive leaders, they have three essential characteristics. They think ahead, they see beyond problems, and they take informed action to achieve desired results. However, thinking ahead is not seeing beyond problems, and seeing beyond problems is not informed action. All right. When I come back, I will go a little bit more into this so as to really help you to understand the important role that being a proactive leader can play in your life. And of course, Frank would have outlined a number of other essential elements of leadership. And Frank, what I want to say is that this platform is an international platform. We are reaching over 50 countries. And as you articulate, it makes sense to articulate from international data and don't restrict yourself to the glass ceiling that people may want to hold you to. So I just want to mention that you've done a really good job in pulling that data and speaking from the international data. I now want to turn some attention to Peter to have Peter share with us his thoughts. Of course, he may share it from a theological standpoint because he's a theologist by profession. But Peter, I would love to hear from you and how you relate to the talking points. All to you, Peter.
Yeah, and it is always a delight to be here, gentlemen, and to start out the day speaking about matters that refreshes the psyche and give us that sense of going into the work week or going into the work day with that sharpness, that mental sharpness in our approach. And the issue of leadership is quite essential because everything stands on leadership. It's essential leadership styles or habits. From our standpoint, where we view human growth, it's paramount. Leadership is paramount, everything begins and ends with leadership. Um, Even as we communicate about business and how business will make impact in the community and as an individual as well. Leadership, as I said, everything starts and begins with leadership, and individuals who are having a desire where leadership, where business is concerned. Over the years, in our research, we discovered that there are basically about seven basic structures or seven basic frameworks upon a successful entity, or whether it is business in the business field or the nonprofit field. There are seven basic structures that are essential for those to be successful. And the primary one, if we should look, and I'm just going to repeat what those seven is for those persons who are want to get out into the field of business development or to present an idea to the marketplace. There is leadership. It's everything, as I said, start with leadership, and the leader is always looking at how am I going to solve a problem. So from our standpoint, who is a leader? A leader is an individual who is seeking to solve a problem. Because we're living in a problematic world. And in order for us to navigate ourselves successfully, it means that we have to eliminate the challenges or eliminate the hurdles, the barriers that are standing in our way. And it is the job of leaders to define the conditions that they're faced with and to develop some kind of a strategy by which they will overcome those barriers that are standing in our way. So leaders will now look at how we are going to deal with the problem. So leaders are problem solvers, but then to move into taking that solution, you have to know who are the best people. So the second level by which a leader is going to navigate, he has to know who are the persons who will best the solution that he's having, because every solution, even though the marketplace is quite vast, not every solution is going to fit every individual, but there are certain solutions that will fit best a certain group of individuals. Then a leader is the one who is going to, make sure that there is an understanding that the solution that is being presented to the marketplace, these are the group of individuals that will benefit from this particular solution that they're taking into the marketplace. So they have done the research. A leader is the one who is going to do the research or to ensure, not necessarily that it is done by himself, and in the area in which an individual that is there listening to us, perhaps you are the one who is by yourself. And as Gary mentioned, that leaders, they see beyond the problems and they make ways to get beyond the problems. So sometimes as a start, it starts out that as a leader you will be starting out all by yourself, but that's what leaders do. They do understand that everything begins and ends with me. So if there is a solution to be found, they will find the solution. But then for the solution to match the right person, to build the proper individuals who will get that solution, then the research has to be done. So there has to be the research and the development of that solution that is to be taking place. So the second, or what should I say, no, the third element of why leaders are essential and the habits that leaders must have, then they have to be able to market that idea. So you decide that you're going to be the problem solver. You decide that you're going to take that solution and you're going to do the research to see if that solution is viable. The third aspect, once you figure out that the solution is viable, then now it is the leader's responsibility to ensure that it is marketable. It will be distributed to the right individuals, the ways by which it is going to get into the hands of people, the ways by which people will know about it. It has to be marketed the proper way. The fourth element that we would say for individuals to move their idea, their goods and their service, leaders also have to know, have some ability in management and operation. Because as I said again, bringing out something to the market, more likely you're going to start out with just you, as if you're a startup. If you're just an individual seeking to make your way out, then you will have to be the chief cook and the bottle washer at the same time too. But then you have to learn how you're going to manage yourself, how you're going to manage your resources, and how you're going to make your solution viable as you are seeking to get out into the place of impacting your community. Then you have to also find a way how you're going to deliver that service, whether it is going to be through the internet or all the various means by which, if it's a physical product or it is a digital products, and what are the ways by which, if it's a physical product, the logistics that will go into it. Well, it is easier if it's a digital products, but all that process has to be determined, and it requires a person who has a leadership mindset, who is taking the helm and getting your solution out into the marketplace. The sixth element is that you now have to determine what's the price and what's the cost. You'll have to determine that it costs you this amount to develop, and it's going to cost you to deliver, and how much you would want to see as a return on the investments, the initial investments that you will make. And then you will now have to deal with a financial management, because as you begin to develop your finances and monies are coming in from that solution that you have, then you have to now develop a management structure or a financial management system, your accounting processes. And I will add to that an eighth element, because once you have customers emerging, or individuals who are receiving your service, then you want to retain those individuals, so that you can have a continuity with the impacting individuals in the marketplace. So there of you now to have, you will need to have customer service skills. So those essential elements, from just starting out as you being that person, to you doing the research, an essential leadership skill or a leadership habit. You have to do the due diligence of doing the researching. Then you have to do the due diligence of making sure that the right person will have access to it, the operation and the management of that process, the service delivery, the sales or the distribution of that service delivery, and then the management. So combine these skills together, then you will have a successful operation in whatever field. Even if you are just a parent, these application of an idea that you want to communicate to those you are leading in your family. And we deal a lot of master. You have to be able now to all of these structures that we mentioned. There's certain level of mastery that you have to develop, because then you will have to delegate those tenets to individuals who will be coming in, when you begin to structure particular individuals that will take on these processes for you. So leadership, everything begins and ends with leadership. And when you decide and you understand what is required for you to successfully operate as a leader, then you apply. And at the end of the day, you can say, you can feel as if you have made a marketable or a practical, uh, substantial impact on your community.
All right. Thanks for that share, Peter, on leadership. I want to continue by just expanding a little bit more on some of the points I've made early on, because what I did say is that thinking ahead is not necessarily seeing beyond the problem, and seeing beyond the problem is not necessarily being able to take informed action. And the example that I gave early on is relating to the acquisition of income producing assets. I just want to conclude my thoughts on that particular matter. So here is where you're a leader and you see an opportunity to acquire a piece of income producing asset at $10 million. But you have also recognized that if you're able to acquire this, you know exactly how to generate an annual income from this asset of approximately $6 million. You know this. The challenge that you have is that you don't have the 10% equity to invest in this asset. 10% meaning $1 million, including all the closing fees. You don't have it. So you're thinking ahead of the asset acquisition. You're thinking ahead in terms of the potential of this income producing asset to cash flow, but you have a problem. You don't have the money. How do you see beyond this problem? One way in seeing beyond the problem, the example that I gave early on, is to focus on group economics. Again, if you have 10 persons coming together and each one of them is allocating $150,000, it gives you $1.5 million. That is seeing beyond the problem. The next step is you see beyond the problem, but are you strong enough to take informed action to get out there and start that negotiation with 10 persons? Many persons don't have these skills. Now, to break this down, when you master the leadership skill to get out there and negotiate, and I'm going to highlight a number of essential leadership skills that you need to learn, apply, and master. When you're able to do this, guess what? You have tremendous opportunities that can open up for you. The breakdown of this scenario is that you have 10 friends, 10 colleagues, 10 investors investing with you. At the end of the year, you're going to pay them back the monies that they allocated to you with interest, $100,000 interest. The sum total will be $2.5 million. But let us suppose that you push the ceiling and you give them $3 million. Guess what happened because you were able to think ahead, see beyond problems, and take informed action in this context? You have an asset that leaves you with a net income of $3 million. And that's the net income before PIT, principal and interest, tax, and insurance. But you have that money in your hands. Guess what else you have in your hands? You have that income producing asset in your hands. Guess what else you have? You have an income producing asset that is giving you asset appreciation, equity appreciation. Guess what else? You can leverage the equity into other income producing streams. So what I've just done there is to really show you, when you understand how to apply proactive leadership, whether to business or to your personal life, it sets you up to make business breakthrough and financial breakthrough. And as Frank would have said, on this platform, we are not about a theory only. We're also about the science and practice that is going to influence success. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to say, because these are the essential leadership habits that you need To position yourself to be a leader in business and in life, there's a concept that we call preparation. How prepared are you for the success that you want in business or in life? How prepared are you? And what does the phase of preparation look like? I'm going to walk you through some of them because sometimes it's the inability to do these things that causes you to fail. All right. And our mission is to provide you with the right information that can help you to make smarter business and smarter life decisions. One of the things that we talk about, and you need this as a leadership skill, is to invest in becoming a subject matter expert. You want to invest in becoming a subject matter expert. And I'm going to talk about some high value areas of expertise or career of expertise. One area is marketing. Now, marketing is not sales. Sales is not marketing. Marketing is much broader than sales, but you need to understand marketing because marketing is what's going to help you to really understand the business ecosystem, the realities on the ground, and you need that to be able to make informed and educated decisions. So, becoming an expert in this area is going to set you up for success. It's going to help you to become a better leader when it comes to making business decisions. Second, you need to understand management. What exactly is management? In Pathway 5, we talk about management from three different standpoints, where you're managing towards attaining targeted results, where you're managing to maintain, and where you're managing to expand. But what exactly is management? Management stands on five important pillars: the setting objective and planning, organizing resources to achieve the objective, communicating with and motivating your team, coordinating activities, and measuring and controlling performance towards achieving the objective. When you become an expert in these areas, it sets you up for success because if you cannot manage, there lies a challenge. But you need to understand exactly what is management. You become a person who is in high demand because you understand the importance of management. If you're not managing, perhaps you have a runaway train. The next skill set that I'm going to talk about is negotiation. Negotiation. The example I gave early on with the proactive leaders not having the capital to invest in income producing asset. He didn't have capital, didn't want to use debt and equity, but they use negotiation skills. They use negotiation skills. As time progresses, we're going to go deep into negotiation to really help you to understand how to apply these skill sets to win in business and in life. Fourth, you need to understand capital markets. It's a broad ecosystem, but the more you understand capital market, guess what? You're more relevant to businesses because you're now able to help businesses to understand capital financial instruments. You're able to help businesses to access capital markets. You're able to help businesses to leverage capital in a smart way. And last but not least, you're able to help businesses to mitigate debt. The ability to mitigate capital can position you to help your clients to save thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of dollars. So these are skill sets that you need. Now, again, when you come to Pathway 5, the science, theory, and practice of wealth creation, you get to learn all of this. So everything that we're saying here to you, we have built out programs that will be rolled out via the Science of Success University to ensure that you have this body of information. The third skill set that you can really focus on is what we call becoming an influencer marketer. Why influencer marketing matters? Because they got a tremendous amount of clout and influence. And what we have seen is that when you become a subject matter expert in this area, Those persons with this skill set, they are able to help leaders in business to leapfrog their success. So when I talk about influencer marketing, we are talking about, people like, if you know much about the Oprah show, every new author that sits on her program, they become best-selling authors. Every author that is unknown but sits on our program become known. They are able to break through the know, like, and trust factor. Influencers, the right influencers, can set you up for this. So you getting a career in this area makes a whole lot of sense. But guess what else too? The Science of Success University will be rolling out programs to really help people understand how to make this happen. All right. So these are essential leadership habits that you need to hold close to your chest. All right. And you need to make them part of your chess moves to position you for greatness. This is Success Leave Clues. And all of our programs are based on collecting the data, analyzing the data, testing that data, mitigating that data, and now refining it just for you. So you have all the clues that you can use to position yourself for greatness in business and in life. I want to pause again just to ask our community. Today we have over 40,000 persons who have subscribed to our program over the last few months, I think 3+ months. I want to thank you for supporting this program. We are reaching over 50 countries, and we have hundreds of thousands of persons who are viewing the platform. I want to thank you. We've also seen that over 70% of those who are viewing the program, you have not yet subscribed to the program. For one reason or the other, I want to encourage you to press that subscription button so you will be the first to get this content that we're bringing to you on a regular basis. And I want to say this, you don't want to miss it. This week, we have some very exciting talents that are going to be talking with us on habits and money, and you don't want to miss them. We're going to be talking with investors. We're going to be talking with real estate, investors that really wants to help a whole lot of people. We're going to be talking with visionaries from the UK, from the US, from various parts of the world. So subscribe to this program so you will be the first to get these content that we are bringing to you. I now want to turn to Frank to chime in on the talking points. Oh my God, time flies when you're having fun. Frank, all to you.
It flies indeed. It flies indeed.
I just looked at the time and I can't believe I'm seeing that time, Frank.
Yes, and so basically, what I'll do is just give the qualities that
Yeah.
essential leadership have, and then I'll close off because I have a few interviews to look at.
All right.
And in essential, some of the qualities that essential leaders should possess is visionary thinking. Visionary thinking because successful leaders have a clear and a compelling vision for the future. And they inspire their teams by, I'd say, articulating a vision that aligns with the organization's goal and fosters a sense of purpose and direction. They're adaptable. The modern workplace is marked by rapid change and uncertainty. So the effective leader embraces a change and adapts quickly, navigating challenges with resilience. And they have the ability to stay flexible and open-minded, which is crucial in steering the team through unpredictable situations, which will arise from time to time. Then they have an effective communication skill because in any business, communication is the bedrock for success. And leaders who communicate effectively, they build trust, they convey expectations clearly and ensure that team members are aligned with organizational objectives. And they are adept at both speaking and listening. And I like this one, which is empathy, sadly lacking. Empathetic leaders understand and relate to the emotions and perspectives of their team members. And this quality fosters a positive work environment. It enhances team cohesion and contributes to employee well being. There is decision making skills. Leaders must make critical decisions in the face of ambiguity. Effective decision makers weigh the available information, they analyze the potential outcomes, and take decisive action. And they are not afraid to make tough choices when it's necessary. They have a great sense of collaborating and building team. Building a high performing team is a hallmark for a successful leader. And leaders who foster collaboration, they create an inclusive and supportive work environment. They recognize individual strengths, they promote teamwork, and cultivate a sense of unity among members. And of course, they inspire um, and motivate. They have accountability. They have a continuous learning mindset. I always say that leadership is not a destination; it's a journey.
Mhm.
So it must be continuous learning. They're resilient. So with these 10 qualities, an effective leader has not a chance but to being successful and to raising the level of proficiency and efficiency of any team. I want to leave with you this morning. When you know that we're here to help you. The modern workplace demands leaders who embody a diverse set of qualities, and we will show you how successful leaders not only steer their teams towards a goal, but also inspire, also innovate and adapt in the face of changes. We will help you to cultivate these essential leadership qualities because individuals can not only succeed, but also they can leave a lasting impact on the teams, a lasting impact on the organizations in this dynamic landscape of the modern workplace. Have a blessed day. See you guys. Bye bye.
Thanks for that, share, Frank. Just before you go, can you give us a brief update on your book and just some update as to what the public can expect?
Okay. The public can expect the book to be a book that looks at cultural um, differences across the business landscape. They can look at how we foster hybrid teams and how to navigate those complexities of the hybrid workspace, the style and the leadership style that they choose that will be effective and efficient in the work environment, um, and how to really compete in this 21st century on 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 on, on building a better brand for themselves, on creating a space in which they can profit and prosper in this challenging competitive business landscape. They will also need to understand that how they communicate, uh, how they market, the various tools that they use, how they can enhance their their vision, their their place in the market, that space, how they can occupy it and get more um, loyal customers, loyal stakeholders, loyal investors. So yes, in a nutshell, that's what the book is about, and there's so much more that will be coming. So I must thank you for that, Gary. Yeah,
Welcome, my friend.
you're marketing me. That's good. No?
So
So we got workout commission.
you got it. We're gonna do some lunch and dinner, buddy. And when it third got the bestseller, we're gonna take some trips around the world, right?
Fantastic, especially in the Scandinavian countries and those specific areas.
You
Uh,
got it. You
all right,
got it.
buddy. Y'all take
That's
care,
what friends
Peter.
do, right? That's what
Yeah,
friends do, right? Support each other,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's it,
man.
man.
Yeah. Peter, you
All
got my
right,
back.
Fred.
Say again.
You got my back, right?
I got you. What?
All right, guys,
The
take
whole
care.
team got you, man. The whole team got you. Don't worry. We got you.
I big up y'all in this book, you know.
Uh,
Right.
I
I
didn't
big up,
hear you.
I big up you guys in this book. So
Oh,
y'all better come through because I'm gonna hold everyone accountable.
accountable. Don't
And
worry. We got you.
Gary, KFC gonna cut it for me, right?
No, we
Oh,
upgraded the champagne and red wine. We upgraded this thing, right?
All right, fellas. Great being
All
here
right,
with you
Fred.
guys.
Yeah,
Take care.
man.
Bye
Enjoy the rest of your day.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye. All right, Peter, all to you, your thoughts, your closing thoughts on today's talking points.
yeah. I just wanted to just remind individuals out there that there's the KPI. So what I mentioned a while ago is certain key performance indicators that a leader must have if they're going to be successful in operating in the space of business or even those who are operating in the nonprofit area. And I'm just going to run over those key indicators. They must be a problem solver. They must be able to do ample research. You must be constantly researching your solution to make sure that because it's not a thing that you just get a solution and then that's it there because the solution needs to be improved, updated on a regular basis. The solution must be constantly be marketed. You have to manage that operation. It constantly have to be managed. The solution has to be distributed, so you have to be able to do that constantly. And distribution regards sellers, so there is sales, so you have to be a person who is going to at least those basic elements starting out by yourself. You have to be ready to make the sale. If you don't make the sale, you won't be generating revenue, and if you don't generate revenue and to grow, and then you got to manage and be financial accounting. So the solution has to you have to have a system that is going to manage that the sales process, and then you got to retain your customers as they come in. Now in all of that, one closing thing that I want to present here is every there are four basic components that I would say what we have discovered as work on our human growth master plan programs. And it is four elements that it's the building block of what life is about. And we do realize that um, the importance of formulas. There's there as a solution as a leader, you have to develop your formula, and that's a key component, to what a leader does. It's one thing to take somebody else's idea, but anybody can take an idea and work it. Leaders are able to either they take somebody else's idea and they add greater value to it, so much of value they will add to that idea that it becomes their own because it no longer looks like what how they received it in the first place. They modify it, they improve it, and then now that becomes their proprietary product or service, even though it is coming from somebody else. So Bill Gates did not invent computers, but what Bill Gates did was to make it more accessible to multi-millions of people. So you can take an idea that is already being used and you develop that idea to make it something that individuals are more accessible to greater number of people. But what can also happen is that you can develop your own proprietary skill, your proprietary knowledge, something that you have developed on your own. And those two components is what a leader as a solution oriented person. And that's basically the very basic element of what makes a leader is that he is solution oriented. So to be solution oriented, you need four components to be solution oriented. You're going to need substance. You're going to need systems. You're going to need structures and strategies. Every solution is made up of substance. It has to have a value to it, a core to it, something that makes it relative to receiving. It must connect. It has to have a value of impact. Substance systems, it has to has a way by which you are going to present it. It is going to be connecting to those persons who are going to receive it. And then it has to has structures surround it. So if I should just use an example of what a structure would look like, in the sense as this platform is designed to communicate business values to the community. So if it's a business, it has to has a business structure that is going to present your solution, which is your substance, to the, and then there has to be strategies. There has to be those overarching properties, or those overarching elements you're going to use to navigate or to manage the substance, your systems, and your structure, so that it can have greater impact in the community. I have found that those four elements of substance, system, structures, and strategy, once you can apply that and know how it can works for you, you will be that individual that no matter where you are, or no matter what circumstances or situation you find yourself in, just find out what is the substance that can come out of this situation. What are the systems that are involved in this situation? What are the structures that are in this situation? And what strategies you can use that is connected with those situations that is applicable to just about anywhere. I call it the formula for success, upon which everything that goes on in our community is built upon. So, lastly, as a leader, is either you have your own solution. If you do not have your solution to bring to the marketplace that is proprietary to you, find something that is working, improve on it, add some value to it, make it your own, and then take it even further than it was before. And so you can have impact that is necessary in solving so many big problems in the community. Thank you.
All right. What I'm going to conclude with is by reflecting on some of what I would have said earlier. Today, I talk about the proactive leaders, and you get to learn three essential characteristics of the proactive leader. And what I said is that proactive leaders, they think ahead. They think ahead about human, technical, and capital resources to move the process forward. We call them the factors of production. They see beyond problems. And these are things that you need to position yourself to be able to do when you want to be successful. And last but not least, they're able to take informed action. Now, if you're new to the concept informed action, there's an ecosystem here, because informed action says that you can do this in multiple ways. You can become the subject matter expert, or you can subject the goals and dreams and hopes and aspirations that you have for yourself to working with a mentor, a coach, a sponsor, a supportive community that are there to add value and push you forward in business and in life. This is all part of the ecosystem of informed action. I've also spoken about the whole concept of how you apply this to business and to life. I give an example today in terms of how to position yourself to acquire income producing assets using group economics. And on our platform is not a theory. We talk from the science, the theory, and the practice. So you have that broad ecosystem on which to draw from to position yourself for greatness. Now, when it comes to thinking ahead, seeing beyond problems, and taking informed action, it can be done across platforms. Perhaps tomorrow I look at how you can apply these techniques in the capital markets, and that is to reduce the cost of capital. This morning I looked at it from the perspective of how to raise capital, but can you apply proactive leadership to reduce the cost of capital? And yes, you can. All right, so keep following us, keep subscribing, so you will be the first to get these content that we are bringing to you on a regular basis. And I do look forward to being with you tomorrow, same time. So with that being said, I want to encourage you to have a wonderful day ahead of you and a great and exciting week in front of you. Remember, we believe in you, and it's time that you start to believe in yourself. If you're in business and you need support to access capital, I want to encourage you to reach out to us. If you're in business and you want to reach new markets across the world, I encourage you to reach out to us, because we have the supportive community that are committed to helping you realize your business and personal financial goals. With that being said, I want to say have a great one. See you tomorrow. Peter, take care.